Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a decades-long shadow war between Iran, Israel, and the United States. To really get what's happening in the headlines, you have to go back and understand how it all began. You know, this might look like a scene straight out of a Hollywood thriller, but it's not. This is the reality of modern conflict in the Middle East. These are the high-tech nerve centers, running 24/7, tracking an incredibly complex web of threats as they happen.
And this is what those command centers are on the lookout for, the sheer projection of military might. This isn't some historical photo. This is the current, very tense situation in the region.
And it's not one-sided. All players have sophisticated defense networks like this one, constantly on alert. These systems act like a protective shield, ready to track and take out multiple targets at once. It means everyone is in a perpetual state of readiness, always on edge. So it begs the question, right? How did we get here? How does a regional rivalry escalate into a flashpoint that has the whole world watching? Well, the answer really lies in one single pivotal moment in history. So let's rewind the clock. Our story really kicks off in 1979. This was the year that the entire geopolitical map of the Middle East was basically torn up and completely redrawn. In January of '79, the Shah of Iran, who was a key American ally, fled the country. Just a few weeks later, Ayatollah Khomeini returned from exile. And this wasn't just a simple change in government, no way. The Iranian Revolution installed a new leadership with a deep ideological opposition to the West, and it fundamentally changed all the alliances in the region. And you can see a direct line from that political earthquake to today's military reality right here. On the left, you've got the revolution that created the Islamic Republic. And on the right, that's the result of the 4 decades since, a truly formidable military with some very advanced missile capabilities. Take a look at this map of alliances before 1979. It shows a completely different Middle East. Notice the strong ties between Iran and the West. After the revolution, Iran flipped from being a key U.S. partner to a major adversary. And just like that, the entire power dynamic of the region was turned on its head. So, the new government's ambitions almost immediately set off alarm bells around the world, and everyone's attention started to focus on one incredibly sensitive issue. Of course, we're talking about Iran's pursuit of nuclear technology. It became a primary focus of global diplomacy and, frankly, global concern. The issue dominated tense debates, like the one you see here at the United Nations Security Council, for years and years. So naturally, intelligence agencies all over the world pointed their satellites toward Iran. And imagery, just like this detailed overhead view, revealed the existence of these sprawling, secret nuclear facilities. Places like Natanz and Fordow, many of them built deep underground for protection. And what was going on inside these hidden sites? Well, we're talking about a massive and technologically advanced program. You've got these industrial-scale enrichment facilities and high-tech labs, all of which raise some very serious questions in world capitals about the program's ultimate goal. Now, the nuclear question, combined with all these new regional power dynamics, didn't just lead to diplomacy and sanctions. No, it ignited a full-blown technological and military competition. So, in response, Israel and the United States made a point of continuously demonstrating their overwhelming air superiority. These formations of the world's most advanced fighter jets, including the F-35 stealth fighter, became a very clear signal of who had technological dominance in the region's skies. But this isn't just a battle of planes and missiles. Far from it. There's a silent war being waged with satellites in cyberspace and with unbelievably advanced defensive technologies. It's a competition of intelligence and technology just as much as it is about hardware. So, what's the result of all these decades of rivalry? One of the most heavily militarized and technologically advanced regions on the entire planet. It's this complex web of direct military power, sophisticated defense shields, and what are known as proxy forces, these armed groups supported by the bigger regional powers. And all these regional tensions, well, they have a direct impact on the global economy, and maybe even on the price you pay for gas. This image looks pretty serene, but it hides a critical reality. This fleet of tankers is navigating what is one of the most important waterways for the entire global economy. We're talking about the Strait of Hormuz. It's a critical maritime choke point. A huge chunk of all the oil traded by sea in the entire world has to pass through this one narrow channel. This gives Iran, which borders the strait, immense strategic leverage. Any disruption here could send massive shockwaves through global energy markets. And this map really shows you how these vital economic arteries run directly through the conflict zone. The sheer proximity of all this military hardware to these crucial shipping lanes is what makes the situation so incredibly volatile. So, after walking through decades of revolution, rivalry, and technological escalation, we have to ask the big question: where does this leave the region, and by extension, the world? When you pull back and look at the big picture from space, you can really see how interconnected we all are. The lights of the cities in the Middle East are tied to the economic health and security of Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Stability here isn't just a regional issue, it is a global necessity.
And it's so important to remember that beyond all the geopolitics, this is a land of ancient history and deep, rich culture. The olive tree, a timeless symbol of peace, is standing here in a region caught in a brutal cycle of modern conflict. And that brings us to the final, unanswered question. In a region defined by both its ancient past and its hypermodern conflicts, what will the next chapter be? The honest truth is, that path forward remains unwritten, leaving the entire world to watch and wait.